Yo, what's up, my friends? How you doing? It's your friend Phil here, project management trainer and PMP exam coach. I hope you're doing awesome. How's your training in project management been treating you? Well, those of you who are on our course, you know the training's treating you really good. We got started with our virtual training for October yesterday, and 3 hours used to knock out chapters 1 and 2 and build a strong foundation for the PMP exam. If you want to be part of that, you need to go to pmsucceed.com, because once we get over this week, we're going to be so far gone, you won't be able to catch up. But today, I'm going to be sharing with you really quick, because it is cold out here in Arizona. I tell you, it's ridiculous. It's like 55 or 52. It's really, really cold. It's gotten really cold. I was actually hailing the other day when I was on the freeway. Anyway, 3 ways to jumpstart your PMP prep. That's what we're going to be focusing on, okay? So how do you jumpstart your PMP prep? Now, when I say jumpstart your PMP prep, I mean you do have some PMP preparation going on. Or maybe you started some PMP prep and it's parked at the side of the road and you're not moving along anymore. So how do you get started again? I'm going to share with you 3 things, and some of these things have some sub-bullets. So I want you to take note of these. The first thing you need to do, guys, if you really want to jumpstart your PMP prep, which means you're not going at the speed you want to, you're not even moving, maybe. First thing, you need to commit. A lot of folks haven't committed to the cause. And that's the truth. I mean, some people have started, but they haven't committed. They haven't said, no matter what, I will show up. Think about it. It's like food. You're committed to being fed, right? Otherwise, you'd starve. You're committed to eating and drinking, because if you don't, you'll starve and the outcome won't be very nice. So in the same token, you got to commit to eating your daily PMP and PMBOK guide nourishment food. I know it sounds funny, but a lot of people aren't committed. They go days, weeks, even months. It's ridiculous. I mean, like right now, there are about 600 students who are under my watch getting ready for the test, and you take a look at those who have logged in to the system. Very few people have logged into the system. My video has gone. Where has it gone? I don't know, but I hope you can hear what I'm saying. So you need to commit, okay? In order to commit, you need to have this mindset, this whatever it takes. You need to have a whatever it takes mindset. Whatever it takes, I'm going to show up, I'm going to study, you know, I'm going to get my nourishment, I'm going to eat. So under commit, I have 3 things for you. 1, do whatever it takes. 2, I will not whine or make excuses. A lot of PMs, they give me the same excuse, you know, and I know everyone has a workload, but you still make out time to eat, right? You still make out time to do stuff. So I want to encourage you, make out time and stop telling me, oh, it's my job. Everyone has a job, but at the same time, everyone that has a job eats and sleeps, hopefully, and does other things, okay? I know it gets crazy sometimes, but do you think it's ever going to abate? Do you think it's ever going to stop? No, it's not going to stop. It's going to continue. So stop whining about the amount of work you've got. Just schedule your daily PMP, PMBOK guide intake. And before you know it, you're going to be done. I'm not saying this has to be 3 months of your life. No, if you do it smart, within 6 weeks, you should be able to get certified. You should be able to knock out enough work after your basic boot camp to get certified. And let me talk to a lot of those folks who have been for a boot camp. You've been for a boot camp and you're still studying for another, let's say, 3 months. Why? Why are you still studying for 3 months? You've been to a boot camp. Was it a useless one? Or was it good? If it was good, 6 weeks tops. I've seen people come to our boot camps, get done on a Friday, get certified by next week Wednesday, next week Thursday. It's doable if you do it right, okay? So when I hear people saying, oh, my workload, this and that, what about weekends? How about going crazy on a Saturday? How about, you know, I told you about this student out of Canada, Parmeet Singh. Parmeet got our LMS on a Thursday and got certified on a Monday. Never been for PMP training before. It's doable. So you guys, you need to take a lesson from chapter 6, schedule management. What does schedule management tell us? Crashing and fast tracking. Have you tried to crash the schedule? Have you tried to crash your PMP schedule? Crash your PMP schedule. I got a chat in from Paul. How you doing, Paul? Paul says, I went for a software engineer to PMP. There you go. I recommend people take a 4-day PMP prep class, study and practice every weekend. That's what I'm talking about, Paul. Thanks for chipping in there. And Paul says, I recommend people take a 4-day PMP prep class, study and practice every weekend after class, exactly, by taking mock exams. That's it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So you have to do that. Okay? Tyra says, hey Phil, the video's gone. I hope I'm back. And Steve says, okay. Thank you, Steve. I'm glad you can still see the video. All right. Now, there's a lot of options for people getting ready for the exam to crash and fast track. Fast track, do things in parallel. Maybe study a process group and a knowledge area in 1 week. So while you're studying integration going that way, you're also studying part of integration but going down and going to stakeholder. There are all sorts of things you can do. If you've been for a good boot camp, as Paul was saying, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to study the right way. You know, study the right way. Hopefully that you know, in these boot camps, they train you on how to study, because there's a method to studying. Some people are just reading blindly. Don't read blindly. Study, take a quiz. Like Paul said, take a mock exam. Okay, so my number 1 point is commit. Whatever it takes, have that mindset. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. Okay? I will not whine. Okay? I will not whine. Oh, Steve, yes, I remember. Ah, okay, Steve. Yeah, I told you after a year, we're going to get this thing right. So I'll look forward to seeing you when the 1 year so-called probationary period is over. But Steve, remember we talked about the ACP and the CAPM as being options, okay? Very good. And the last thing, I want you to make this your mantra. Make this your mantra if you're getting ready for the exam, okay? This needs to be your mantra. 0 excuses, 100% accountability. 0 excuses, 100% accountability. You see, this is where some folks miss it, Steve, because a lot of people are told to buy a book. It's one thing to buy a book, but it's another thing to go back to the mothership. I mean, I live by it, because when I say the mothership, I'm talking about the PMBOK guide. A lot of people buy books, they don't read the PMBOK guide, and then they go into the exam and the language is ridiculous, like the language in the PMBOK guide. But anyway, don't let me go off on a rabbit trail there. The bottom line is 0 excuses, 100% accountability. All right? So that's your number 1 point. Commit, commit, commit. Commit to eat, drink, PMBOK, PMP dogma, the right way. Okay? Number 2, the second way to jumpstart your PMP prep. It's called planning. A lot of PMs are not planning their PMP journey. And because they are failing to plan, they are indirectly planning to fail. And they do. Because they now wake up one day, oh, I've got PMP next week, I've got the exam. Let me try. It's too late by then for many people, because you need time to let it marinate, to let it soak in. If you're not letting it soak in, guys, you're not doing it right. It needs to marinate, okay? So you need to avoid these get PMP quick schemes. A lot of them are just flat out bogus and ridiculous. Oh, you can get certified in like 4 days or 10 days, or let's stop giving labels to, oh, you can get certified if you jump on this program. And no, people are different. Some people may take longer, I know, but we need to plan stuff out. And if you haven't planned how to digest each molecule of your PMP exam syllabus, I'm talking about module by module. If you haven't done that, then how do you know you're going to finish? You need to plan it out realistically. You know, you have to make your project management professional schedule a realistic schedule. So if you're telling me, oh, I'm going to read all of integration today, all of scope today, all of schedule today, I'll ask you, are you sure you're going to read or you're going to study all of that? That's a bit much. You're talking about a boatload of processes, especially if you haven't done a deep dive before. If you're doing a rapid dive, rapid comb through at the final study, I can understand. But some people are still shaky and they tell me, oh, I'm going to finish scope today, schedule today, risk today. Are you kidding? Be realistic. Your schedule has to be realistic, okay? Don't kid yourself saying, oh, I'm going to study 3 knowledge areas, get them down pat, be able to explain all the ITTOs, be able to explain all the intricacies of the process. No, you can't, because it takes time. Trust me, even for me, if I open up the 6th edition and I'm reading it now, even though I've read it before, I always find new stuff in it all the time. So I want to encourage you, have a schedule and make it a realistic schedule. Bite-sized chunks, all right? So under planning, I have a realistic schedule, bite-sized chunks, and plan the cost. What do I mean by plan the cost? A lot of people say, oh, there's a nice $29 course I'm going to take. Woohoo! Well, have you done your cost-benefit analysis? Have you done a quality comparison? Just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's the best option. It makes sense to spend good money on a great course, you know, as you're prepping for the exam, than to spend money on a crummy course. And at the end of the day, on top of the $555 for the PMP exam, you have to spend an additional $375, or what is it? I can't even remember. I don't even want to remember. But do an analysis, guys. Count the cost and go for a good course. Go for a course that has rave reviews, that has people who can tell you, I took this course, I took this mock exam, it gave me a realistic view of the real thing. Not courses where you ask Johnny, how do you find the course? It wasn't that good. You ask Mary, how do you find the course? Oh, it was great. What do you get on the mock exam? Oh, I got an 80 and I passed on my first try. Then you ask someone else, what did you get? I got a 90 and I failed. No, you don't want that variability, all right? So you need to do a quality and cost analysis. Do your research, all right? The next part is stakeholders. A lot of people don't engage their stakeholders. People at home, family, people you live with, spouse, people in your life. You need to get those stakeholders involved to support you. This is all part of planning a support system. So when you go for weeks studying and you're not available for functions that you typically would go for, it's not a strange thing and people aren't mad at you, okay? So you need to plan, just like you plan knowledge areas, plan out all of these things for your exam, okay? That's what I call planning. All right. The next point I have here is leverage communication. Leverage communication with your coach. Hopefully you've got a coach, you've got someone who's mentoring you, training you, coaching you, helping you to get certified. If you don't, you're doing it wrong. You know, and I'm not saying it has to be someone physically, it could be someone long distance or remote. Have that accountability factor. It's all good as part of your planning, okay? So plan to leverage communication. All right, it's getting really cold here. So last point, do it. Just do it. How do you do it? 1, remove obstacles. Any obstacle around you. Should I tell you the biggest obstacle right now in your path? You are your biggest obstacle. If you can get over you, then we deal with the next obstacle, others. So if you can get over you, you can get over the other people, the negative people, people who try to tell you it's a waste of time, don't do it, or people who are just not for you taking the exam. Distractions, remove distractions. What are the distractions? Your TV, that's a huge distraction for many people. The shows on TV, you ever had favorite shows? Those shows are distractions if they're barring you from focusing on the studying you need to be doing. What about your bed? A big distraction. That's why it's a bad idea to study in your bedroom if the bed is a distraction. For some people, it's not. I remember growing up, my mom would laugh at my sister and say, you're always sleeping instead of reading. You say you're going to read and study, and you get on the bed and she will lie across and put her books on the ground. That bed was a distraction. But anyway, she must have done something right, It ended up working out for her. But not everyone is able to manage the bed. It could be a huge distraction for some people. And then what about comfort? Just the comfort of your home. It could be a distraction, folks. It could be. All right. The last thing I've got in do it is pedal to the metal. You just got to go full throttle, go hard, mean business, take no prisoners, and just be as realistic and true to yourself as possible. For me, let me tell you what that meant. Getting out of the house, because a lot of the things I've mentioned were distractions. TV back in the day, I don't watch a lot of TV anymore, but back in the day, it used to be a huge, huge distraction. A lot of the shows, I would watch Smallville unfailingly. I would watch stuff all around the clock. But now I don't. So if TV is a distraction, get yourself out and away from TV or whatever is distracting you. And seriously, let me just give you this little benchmark. The average student who is gearing up to take the PMP exam, 2 weeks to the exam, the average student that I have mentored and trained, the average student spends between 2 and 3 hours daily in the big run up to the exam, 2 weeks out. So think about it. If you put in 3 hours every day, you're clocking 21 hours a week. Times 2, 42 hours. No wonder they do well. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not putting in enough time, consider what you need to do to put in more time to cover the volume, to get your burn down, to really get to zero before you get into the exam. There's also another comment I've heard from students that I don't quite think is helpful. Some students say, oh, I don't have time for 4-hour mock exams. Are you kidding? You work, yes, but there's no way around getting ready for the real thing without preparing, taking mock exams. It's crazy. Some students say, Phil, I'd like to take a mock exam, but I don't have time for a 4-hour one. I'm just going to take some itsy bitsy ones before the real thing. Are you kidding? How are you going to get the stamina? How are you going to get the stamina? For me, I took 4-hour mock exams ad nauseum. Even if they were the same questions, I took them again and again and again, and it paid off. I talked about a student of ours a few weeks ago. This student would take our mock exam almost every day leading up to his real exam. And at a point, I began to wonder, does he know that it's the same test? But hey, it paid off. He was doing exactly what I was doing. How dare I criticize him? He was doing, and it's not really a criticism. I was just marveling at, there are a lot of other mock exams on the LMS. Why are you taking the same one? But that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get to perfection. And at the end of the day, he got to perfection. And he passed the exam before a lot of his peers. All right, so here are the 3 points one more time. Commit, realistic schedule or planning, and last but not least, just do it. Okay, I just wanted to give you some inspiration. I know lots of you already have stuff you're doing to study, so you've got materials, and that's good. If you don't have materials, you want to go to Praizion.com, Praizion.com, or if you want to go for a great virtual course online, you need to go to pmsucceed.com and check out what we've got. All right, it's getting cold and dark, but I want to thank all of you who chatted in. Steve, we're going to be here for you. and everyone else who chatted in. I wish you the very best in your prep and in your project management. Take care, guys. Bye for now.